So we live in this world, in this day and age, where data is like a buzzword, especially in corporations or just in the world. Any article you read for the most part will cite some sort of study or data of some sort, right? And so data is so important, but just in my career, I've learned sort of the power of understanding data, and that doesn't mean you have to be like a data scientist, because I'm certainly not a data scientist, but it just means understanding like how data works, how data is used and structured. I think can really take you a long way. In one's career, as it has helped me. Before I get more into that, I do want to say welcome to the Practical Place. My name is Ryan Holguin. This is a channel where I enjoy talking about career growth, professional development, things happening on a macro scale in terms of business and the economy. But then I also like to talk about sports sometimes. I haven't talked about sports in a while, but I do enjoy sports. Sports, and I enjoy data as well. So these are things I like to talk about. So if any of that interests you, I would encourage you to subscribe, join the 350 plus other subscribers here that I'm very thankful for. And so, yeah, this is kind of an open dialogue channel, if you will, where I like to talk. Sometimes I'll do like tutorials on tools that I learned that I wish folks would have, told me about. And sometimes I'll just kind of do these open air commentary conversations. And so, talking about data, for me, early on in my career, even whenever so I'm like I'm a chief of staff now. So I help, provide insights to my team, to make sure that we're aligned on company goals and making sure the how we're getting stuff done is in line with that. And we're organizing our data in a way that does that, so that we can report up. And so that's kind of my context of where I'm coming from. But even early on in my career, when I was, working, answering phones every day, doing customer service work, and then moving into like a technical support role and more in-depth conversations on the phone with customers, I was really fascinated with data because every company has data, and for me, just as I think about it, it's how does the company leverage that data? I mean, you think about it in a personal sense. It's like you have a budget. Whether you analyze the budget or you don't, you're utilizing data in an effective way, or you're not. You're really disregarding the data. So if you're always in the red or you're always in a deficit every month in your own personal budget, it's probably not going to go well for you, right? You're living paycheck to paycheck. You're taking out loans, whatever the case may be, right? And so, sorry, I'm adjusting my camera here. Hopefully, I'm bright enough. But so that's really a small way data plays a role in our lives. Like everything we interact with, for the most part, is powered by data, is informed by data. And as a person who works for an organization who wants to add value to my organization as much as possible, I imagine if you're watching this video, you're probably in the same place. You want to do that as well. Helping understand like how data is used and how data is interpreted really, I think, goes a long way in one's career and one's growth, because if you know what's going to, like if you have to log a call, right? Let's say you're a customer service rep and you have to log a call and you have to put down the customer's name, where they're calling from, maybe the type of trade they are if you're doing, a technical support work in this customer service center, right? And just key details of the person's information, and then details of the call. And then maybe you have to tag the type of call it was. Maybe it was like a bill issue. Maybe it was, user technical issue. Maybe it was something like that, right? Maybe it was company idea. Maybe it was a question, just a general question. And you log that. As a entry level customer service rep employee, it's probably easy to get, just forget about that stuff and think, well, that it's just a part of the job, right? I have a job and I have to log it and I have to do that, right? But the company put this system in place for some reason. And the way I'm wired is I'm always asking why. Well, why are we doing the way we're doing it? What's the purpose behind it? And I always want to know the history behind the system, because it helps me understand the system, one, and it helps me respect the system. Like, okay, there's an intention. It's not just silly, because it's really easy to come into a system or something that's already existing and then just blow it up just because, well, that's not the way I naturally think about it. So I'm just going to blow it up. But that's not going to win you a lot of friends. Now, we're not in this sometimes to make friends, and that I get that argument. But it's going to make it hard for people around you. I think my preference. Do whatever you want. But for me, I like to respect the system that I'm coming into. I like to respect the institution, the whatever, the framework, whatever they have going on. I try to respect it, understand it, and then try to implement, iterative small updates or enhancements on a small scale that over time, makes a shift in the direction we're going for the good, hopefully. And so if just on a customer service level, okay, like they need to know the call type because, they're using that data to better our products. If we keep getting the same type of technical question, we do a filter, for searching technical questions. The type of call was a technical question. And then we look at the body of the language and maybe we're looking for keywords like, starter, or, I'm just thinking of like a car, or thinking of like a device that has a motor like starter, or I'm thinking of whatever, right? They can leverage that to then put it into their R&D, their research and development, and then make a better product. So understanding it on a micro scale really helps in the macro level. Even though we may never see the fruit of that work, it just helps us. And then this is kind of the point of where I'm going to is like, just on an individual level, it helps you sort of think like the business. And as somebody who's been able to grow in my career, grow in roles, move into newer roles, get more ability to speak into decisions being made, I've just learned that is really valuable to leaders that you start to work with. That's the language leaders speak. That's what they care about, and that's what's on top of their mind all the time. And so whenever you start to understand there's a data system behind the scenes that I can't see, but if I can do my best on my journey in my role to understand like why it's there, how is the company using it or leveraging it, then maybe I can start to look for those things as well. And then I can also start to understand the business that we're in. I can start to understand like, that when we tag them this way, it leads to this sort of conversation, or it leads to this sort of action from the salespeople to go talk to this. Like there's things happening that we don't always see, and it's really easy to just see what's right in front of us. And if that's you, I don't think that is you because you're watching this video. But like if that is you, like that's still fine too. Like there's people where that's all they care about is answering the call, putting the call down. Maybe they're logging the best, maybe they're not, but they're at least doing what they're required to do and nothing more. Like that is fine because that's what they're paid to do, right? So there's a place for all types of people for sure, unless you're obviously not doing your job or not performing. But if you're somebody, for me, this is the way I am, like I want to always grow and I want to always learn and I always want to get better and I always want to make myself as I want to be so valuable to the company or to whoever I'm working with that, you're almost like irreplaceable. We're all replaceable, right? But in my mind, at least, I feel that way. Which that I can get into that. I'm not saying that anybody can be irreplaceable. Like everybody is, right? But understanding, well, I'm building a lot of value here. I'm my brand, my personal brand that people know me by, my reputation. They know I know the business. They know I understand the data. They know, and that's really played a ton. I work on projects where I build dashboards or I build tools for people that it starts off where I don't understand the system a lot. I don't understand a lot of these categories, a lot of these fields I'm building or using or drop down options. But as I start to build it, and as I start to ask questions to leaders, like, well, I see this, do we want to look at it from this angle? Or how are you thinking about looking at this? How do you want to slice this? And sometimes it might cause them to scratch their head a little bit and think, you know what? We've always just called it that, or we've always just labeled it like that, or we've always reported that, but I don't know why. That's not really a good needle mover, if you will, of like helping us make better decisions. And so you'll start to find on your journey, or at least I have, that as I start to learn more and ask the why question, then you start to discover more, uncover more, and really start to add value, because then you can leverage that and then turn that into insights for other people. Well, as I looked at the data and I sliced and diced from these different angles, here's what here's what it's leading me to think or believe. Is this true? So you develop a hypothesis, you try to pressure test that with people, and then you guys come up with a tool or an idea that helps help drive the business and grow or build better products or whatever the case may be. So, that's something I've thought about as I'm listening, I'm still listening to this book about called Onward about Starbucks, Howard Schultz, and just like his journey being a CEO at Starbucks in a very hard time with the business, with the economy, and they're using a lot of data and they're leveraging the data to try to make better decisions. Should we come out with an instant coffee? Should we close these stores down? And it's all powered by data. And now nobody knows the future, but data can help inform a little bit of which direction one should probably go or not go. So understanding data, the point is understanding data, or at least how data is used and structured within your organization, helps you think like a leader and hopefully helps you become more valuable as an employee, as an asset to the company or wherever you're working. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Are you somebody who doesn't care about the data? Is this all just whatever to you, which is fine. You can think that. Or are you somebody that's just like, yes, I do like the data, I just don't know where to start. Or just share stories of how you leverage this kind of idea and grown yourself in your career. Maybe it helps somebody else. I'd like to start a dialogue in the comments. If you found this video helpful, I would encourage you to like it. And again, as I said, subscribe to the channel here, The Practical Place. I try to take these high level, big picture ideas that I think through in my mind all the time and distill them down into easy, practical, tangible sort of ways one can apply today that I wish I would have had when I was younger in my career. So yeah, I said earlier the week or last week that I was getting close to 350 subscribers, and now I've got 350 plus this morning when I looked. And so I'm really thankful for that. I appreciate everybody for listening and tuning in. But yeah, as I mentioned, my name is Ryan Holguin. This is The Practical Place. I will see you in the next video.